Judge is ready. Timer
Yes.
for our move team.
Yes.
The Constitution only gives people the right to pursue happiness. You have to catch it yourself. Benjamin Franklin. Throughout this debate, the affirmative team has stated that the government should come basically into our lives and take everything that we have worked for, taking away all of our money, all of our wealth, which is the same as money. But I don't believe that the government has the right to take from us what we have worked so hard as an American to earn. I stated in my contention 1 that citizens' self-worth and identity will be harmed if the general, as well as the general economy. But the words "just get a job" is simply saying that worker bestows upon that. Sorry, the saying "just get a job" is simply saying that work bestows upon the worker skills that are quite remarkable and ultimately provide much more independence. Sitting at home and collecting government checks may seem to some like a way of gaming the system, but ultimately it is just gaming oneself, because that individual is losing out on so many opportunities that only come with working. Also, the sense of self-worth is greatly magnified when one is self-supposing and not relying on the government to provide for himself. I stated in my contention 3 that the general worth ethic will be damaged. The average CEO is paid over 400 times more than the average worker. Statistics like this that are initially shocking can actually be inspiring. Without these earnings to aspire to, the productivity of the American economy would collapse. If every person made the same amount of money, employees would find no reason to work hard, because there would be no goal to reach in terms of future earnings, and because there would be no goal to reach in terms of future education or earnings. Subsequently, the affirmative team said something about Thomas Jefferson taking slaves and basically relocating them, or something along that line. I've come to realize that subsequently Indians were also relocated to reservations beginning in the 1980s. Beginning in the 1980s, they were allowed to oversee the development of casinos and assume ownership over them. And nowadays, if you go to a casino, most likely the owner of that establishment would have Indian heritage. As the case with all other Americans, those casinos generate enormous wealth for some tribes. Very much like white and black Americans, some of the tribes were very extravagant, and they lost the drive to search for excellence that used to characterize tribal life. A few years ago, A few years ago, there was a very large tribal casino that several elders of the Indian communities were concerned about the future of the tribes if all the young people became dependent on their previous generations and their parents to just hand them the money instead of working as they did to get to where they are today by owning most of the casinos in America today. Their hope was that they could inspire the work ethic once again and show its advantages for working hard and proving yourself instead of relying on the government to basically feed you and take care of you like an infant. That is all.